Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we've got the pleasure of watching Easy Kill playing in the Tier 9 German medium tank, the E50. Now this vehicle is a bit of a fan favourite. I don't think the tank really has that many weak points until I guess the enemies start dabbing that 2 key and spamming premium rounds at it, and that's because it's a medium tank that is also very heavily armoured indeed. The hull on this tank has 150mm on the upper plate. It's got 185mm of turret armor as well, although the turret armor on this tank is a little bit disappointing, I guess, because it's rather flat, and so as soon as somebody does get a clean shot to the left or the right of the mantlet, well, it can be a bit of a weak point. But of course they have to hit that, and if they miss that area to the left and the right of the mantlet and they hit the cheeks here, I guess unless they're firing something like a heat round, it is going to be an auto ricochet. Now, the mobility on this tank also not too bad either. It's limited at 60 kilometers an hour, and this tank is a heavy old girl. How much does it weigh to be exact? It weighs 62 tons. That's absolutely ludicrous, and if you combine that with good crew skills, well, when I say good crew skills, I should say one crew skill in particular called controlled impact, then when you do land a great ram in this vehicle, it can be oh so satisfying. I think it's only its bigger brother, the E50M, that allows you to be a little bit more flexible because the tank has got a better engine power, and it's also got massively better ground resistances, or track traverse I'm trying to indicate. So being able to ram in the E50M just feels much easier because you can turn to the left and to the right quicker, and in the E50 you feel a bit like a torpedo. You're just going straight, and so you're going to have to judge where they're going to be or hit them while they're unexpecting. Now this vehicle also has a rather lovely 105mm main armament that has decent shell velocity. In fact, I was amazed to see that the shell velocity on this tank is 1,200 meters with its standard rounds, and if you elect to fire the premium rounds on this tank, well, what does the shell velocity go up to? It goes up to 1,500, so you've pretty much got that tier 10 medium tank kind of shell velocity and penetration, to be honest. Well, 270mm of penetration to be exact on the premium rounds on this vehicle. And that's really a point that I always bring up when I talk about the E50, that this is kind of an E50M with standard rounds if you're willing to fire premium rounds on the tank. The gun is pretty much identical, the same aim time, the same accuracy, and the same rate of fire, which, I can't commentate on the E50 without talking about how that whole meme about the E50M is weak and so on and so forth. Is it actually weak? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's being power creeped these days, but certainly not back in the day when I first said it. But the E50 at tier 9 is an absolute monster, and it's allowing easy kill to hopefully pick up, or should I say easy kills to hopefully, oh no, it is easy kill because he's got a Z in his clan tag afterwards. It looked a little wrong up in the top left hand corner of the screen. Hopefully it's going to allow him to pick up some easy kills in this gameplay. We'll have to see, possibly. But Easy Kill is having a hard time with going through this T28 prototype here. He bounced off the lower plate, then he tried to aim at the cheeks of the turret, and that's quite correct because the cheeks of the T28 prototype are not very strong, and the 220mm of penetration are able to go through them. However, the T28 kind of over-angled there, and Easy Kill tried to be able to track him, but he wasn't angled quite enough, so ricocheted off the side, but now he's turning his attention to this Tier 9 Chinese tank destroyer, the WZ-111G. And I tell you what, I've been enjoying playing that tank. I absolutely despised playing through the Tier 8 Chinese tank destroyer, and I thought the whole line was completely garbage. But as soon as I got to Tier 9, and you have a Tier 10 tank destroyer gun on a Tier 9 vehicle, it's a lot more fun to play that line through. But it's not so fun playing non-turreted tank destroyers if a sneaky medium tank like Easy Kill manages to track you in place. Now, Easy Kill obviously got frustrated of bouncing standard rounds off the T20, and so he's dabbed that 2 key, he's loading some gold, and he's firing premium rounds here. And that allows him to just go straight through the cupolas of the T28. He probably could have gone through the frontal hull or even the cheeks a lot more easily on that tank. But there's one thing I don't like about this, and that is, well, Easy Kill was making good use of his standard rounds, and then I feel like he fairly switched to premium rounds to deal with those 2 heavily armored tank destroyers. Now he's going to waste a lot of his premium rounds. I'm not sure if it's a case of he just forgot that he was loading the gold here, or maybe the pressure is too much, or the fact that he's up to 5,200 damage already 5 minutes into this game was maybe just getting very exciting for him. But, you know, these rounds completely unnecessary on the Tiger. I think he'd do best if he was to save these premium rounds for later on, if he's got to go through the T10 or the 112, for example, or maybe even the front of a Lerva. But the E50 in this kind of a scenario, dealing with tanks 2 tiers lower than it, its armor is just absolutely amazing. Even the lower plate of this tank is not too bad. What is it exactly? Is it 100 millimeters of armor on the lower plate? Yes, it is. And if somebody's sitting directly in front of you, you've got about 175 millimeters of effective armor. And if you angle the vehicle effectively, your lower plate goes up to about 200 millimeters. But of course, in this kind of position, Easy Kill is hiding his lower plate against the Tiger, apart from that shell that went in, I guess, against the T28 prototype. And that just makes the E50 amazing. I guess the only thing that's a bit awkward about this tank is because it's so tall and the fact that the vehicle gets 8 degrees of gun depression, it makes it a little awkward in close quarters combat, and I don't feel it's the best brawler, especially when it's outnumbered, because when it's outnumbered it can't keep the thick part of its tank towards its opponent, and then maybe the side armor is going to be a little bit more vulnerable. But it's a great duelist, it's great at 1 versus 1 engagements, and it's also great when it comes down to being the mid to long range sniper. So unfortunately for Easy Kill, this game has not gone too well, even though he's done 7,000 damage in just over 6 minutes in his tier 9 tank. His team are now down to 2 players, including himself, and there are still 8 tanks left on the enemy team that he is going to have to vanquish if he wants to get through this one. The 112, spotted on low health, goes after the KV3 along with the LTTB. But no, Easy Kill actually saves his KV3, but only for a second, as the 112 shuts him down after Easy Kill vanquishes that LTTB. So now in a 1 versus 7 scenario, he's got 800 hit points left. He's up to 5 kills. That means that he's going to be going for 12 if he can take this one down. But he has got his work cut out for him. And that's a good start. We see that there's 1 player in the cap circle, and the rest of the enemy team are thinking, oh, easy, I want that last kill. Oh, I want those hit points. I'm going to go straight after Easy Kill and see if I can increase my experience at the end of this game. But Easy Kill is going to go down swinging. That one looked like it went straight through the AMX 1375. Maybe it just went a little bit high and right. Easy Kill only uses 8 times zoom rather than the 16 or 25 times zoom, which he seems to be making work really well right now as he picks up his 7th kill. And that is the last light tank down, so nobody's really going to be flanking Easy Kill that much. But he's going to have to hurry up because there's only 38 seconds left on the game. How is he going to handle this? The T10 is zombieing towards him. He's now up to 8,600 damage. Whoa, 1 through the cheeks there of the Lerva. I did not expect that one to go through. The Lerva's turret usually a little bit more resilient than 220 millimeters of penetration, but Easy Kill has just got to take his opportunities right now. And you know, in these kind of scenarios, he's had a fantastic game. He's now going to be up to 9,000 damage. What an incredible round for the E50, and he's just given up on the cap circle. No problem, high caliber medal, don't need to worry about that. Bradley Walters medal, 9 kills, and there you go, there's the, oh wait, oh yes, it looks like the enemy team have been they've probably been shouting at the T44 who's evidently in the cap circle, no cap kill all. And this is a favorite thing, and oh dear, the 112, what is up with players doing this? I have no idea what is going on. This happened just a couple of weeks ago in the Tortoise gameplay, where clearly a very good player on the enemy team decided to feed themselves to a player who I guess was going for a hero medal. Maybe he saw the Easy Kill was on 9 kills and he felt like that he wanted to give him his 10th. It's a bit of a bizarre thing to happen. Or maybe the 112 was just really annoyed about the fact that the T44 left the cap circle. I would really like to see the communication from the other team. And if for some reason any of you out there on the enemy team are watching this back, once I release it on YouTube, please do send me a What Replays link, because I would love to see what your team was saying to each other in the chat while it was happening. So Easy Kill gets back to the cap circle, shuts down the Tiger, who is now not going to be saying to his team, no cap kill all, right? He's going to be saying, no kill cap all, probably now. But even 2 players inside the cap circle was not enough to stop Easy Kill from getting back and shutting down the tier 7 German heavy tank. And now there is only 1 tank, and when he started, it was 1 versus 7 in trying to stop Easy Kill from taking down this victory. 10,000 damage in a tier 9 tank. What an achievement. gosh, easy kill, just please hunt down this last Soviet vehicle. And the T-44 is quite vulnerable as well. And the T-44, certainly not the highest penetration of any of the tier 8 meds. And even with premium rounds, I believe, it used to have 235mm of penetration. I've got a funny feeling that Wargaming might have pumped that up a bit. But then again, to all intents and purposes, the T-44 might be using the 122mm. And if he is using that, then he's really going to have his work cut out for him trying to go through the front of the E-50's rather meaty armor. So now, Easy Kill actually has to be a little bit concerned with the amount of ammunition he has left in his tank. Because sure, he only has to put 1 round into the T-44, but he's only got 1 armor-piercing round left. And if he whiffs that, then will those high explosive rounds, those rather low caliber high explosive rounds, with I guess 60mm of penetration is not too bad. Yeah, this tank with the 105mm, not too shabby. He's probably going to be able to pick apart the T-44, albeit more slowly, and that leaves the tank rather vulnerable. Now I guess one of the reasons why the E-50 is in such a darn good position these days is because previously the tank only had 8 degrees of gun depression over the side of the vehicle, and I think it had 5 degrees of gun depression over the front of the vehicle. However, Wargaming buffed it to the point where the gun pretty much scrapes the front of the hull when you depress over the front of the tank. And that has made the E-50 just a much more flexible tank to work on the ridgelines. Previously, if you wanted to depress your gun over the side of the tank, you would have to expose your side armor. And so when I worked ridges in this vehicle, I was immensely frustrated because I would have to expose this part of the side of the tank as you came over the ridge, and that was an easy shot for the enemies to pick up. Now you could come over the ridge like that and just laugh as they're going to bounce off your side armor and off your impressive upper hull armor, 150mm raw. And what is the effective armor on the upper hull? 250? And if you're using your gun depression, we're talking about it being more like 330 on the upper hull of this vehicle. Nobody's going through that. Man, this really makes me want to go and get in the E-50 a little bit more after seeing this gameplay. Although, it's kind of the tank where you've been there, done that. Not sure if you want to play vehicles that you've played a lot in the past, right? Or vehicles that you just think are very strong and maybe you're looking to try and tick the boxes or get some accomplishments in vehicles that arguably aren't, I'd say one of the best, at least at their tier. So now, with 30 seconds left on the game, Easy Kill has to be wondering where is this T-44 going to be coming from. And now that there's only 2 minutes and 25 seconds left to be able to cap out, he's got to worry about being interrupted twice. Now, there's lots of opportunities for where the enemy tank could be, but he's going to come right in front of him. He tries to reverse side scrape there against Easy Kills. An Easy Kill, I should say. And Easy Kill is having none of it as he doesn't make the same mistake that the enemy team had. The enemy team was merciful, or maybe they were just greedy, and Easy Kill was anything but that. He was absolutely decisive with his takedown of the enemy team here, obliterating the turret of the tier 8 Soviet medium tank with the final shell of the game. So let's talk for a second about this whole no cap kill all mentality in World of Tanks. Why do people reset the cap circle in a game where they think that they're easily going to be able to kill the 1 or 2 remaining vehicles on the enemy team? That is because you get experience for dealing damage and killing tanks on the enemy team, and there's kind of like a base value that everybody gets no matter how badly you played if you win and you killed all of the vehicles on the enemy team. Of course, the players who were actually doing the damage and doing the killing are going to get substantially more experience, but even if you play incredibly well and you have a killer game and you cap, leaving quite a few vehicles left on the enemy team, the amount of experience you get is rather disappointing. And so was it right for the enemy team to decap here? And I'd like to highlight the player who actually decapped here is a rather experienced and skilled player himself, winning 55% of the games that they play. And that's why I'm asking if anyone on the enemy team watches this video, please upload it so that we can see what your team was saying to each other during this replay. Because it would be very interesting to me to see if this was some kind of peer pressure situation or if it was just greed to try and get that little bit extra experience. And look, I guess the difference here is that should you decap if you see that maybe you've got 3 or 4 tanks left, a lot of them on low hit points against one of the most dangerous tanks at tier 9, compared to, for example, if you've got 3 full health tier 10 tanks and there's only 1 artillery left on the enemy team. I guess in the end it comes down to judgment of how confident you are and hopefully 100% that you can remove the hit points of the remaining vehicles if you choose to decap, but of course the experience bonus is there. But there's one thing that there is no doubt of, and that is players will continue to throw games by making bad calls, both with regards to capping, both with regards to flanking. That's to be for certain. So easy kill, fantastic game here. Collar Battles medal for standing alone against at least 5 opponents, in this case 7. A Pools medal for his 12 kills. A Steel Wall for picking up 2,220 blocks. That's a little low. I would have expected a bit more of an E50 in this kind of a matchup. And a high caliber for 10,448 damage dealt. Now he fired a substantial amount of premium ammunition this game. A lot of that unnecessarily, and I think he made the end of the game actually quite tricky for himself, because if he'd saved some of those premium rounds from the Tiger, then he could invested them on the Lerva and the T10 at the end and had probably a little bit more confidence in going through. But nevertheless, an incredible replay. Easy kill, thank you so much for uploading this on the WOT Replays website, and I knew as soon as I saw that decap that I really wanted to commentate on this one. And hopefully all of you out there enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down and let me know in the comments why. And also let me know what you think about the whole no cap kill all mentality, and what's the worst throw that you've seen from it. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.